We're going to take a look at the final of 3 meals made from the Swedish 24-hour combat ration sent in by the Magnus. This is menu number 5. And while of course you can have whatever you want in a 24-hour ration over a 24-hour period, they do recommend the breakfast, lunch, and dinner entrees on here, and I decided to stick with that. For breakfast we had the tropical breakfast with flakes. For lunch we had the chicken yellow curry with rice, and for dinner we're going to have the Tuna Chili Pasta. As I mentioned with the lunch, these are nice size entrees. It's 400 grams. It's a lot bigger than the 8-ounce entrees that you get in an MRE. Here's the nutrition facts for anybody who's interested. And one thing you might notice is that this is a pretty small meal, but of course we do have the, as I just said, the large entree. We also have some bread and a cake, so there's a good amount of stuff in here. A couple things to note is that the only drink I had left was a coffee. They gave you 3 coffees with this, so I had one with each meal. And as it turns out, the isotonic grapefruit drink powder that I used for lunch, I probably should have saved some of that, because instead of being like an MRE drink, which makes 12 ounces, this actually took 500 milliliters of water, which made enough drink that I certainly could have split it between 2 meals. But since I didn't, we'll just have the coffee with this one. But the only other thing to mention is that the peanut butter, as we had noted before, is the only thing that was a problem in the ration, and that it has a little bit of a leak here. Now, Magnus actually sent this to me probably about a year ago, so this actually has been an issue for a while. The peanut butter still appears to be fine inside of there, and I'm still planning on using it. We'll try it out and see what happens. But we'll start off by heating up the entree. Now, a couple more things to mention actually is that this Swedish ration, in addition to being an international ration for me in the US, it actually is pretty international itself. The entree came from Denmark. Actually, it's listed as a Denmark company, but it's a product of Thailand. And the peanuts are also from Thailand. And you have this Arabic writing on there. Although I don't think the coffee actually came from Colombia. It is Colombian coffee, so you can count that too. The vanilla cake comes from Denmark, as do most of the Orefo components. And the peanut butter and Louisiana Hot Sauce both come from Old Fashioned Foods in Wisconsin, in the US. So Louisiana Hot Sauce from Wisconsin. So it's kind of interesting because the stuff comes from all over the place. And the Flameless ration heater is a product of the UK. I did want to mention that the Flameless ration heaters did not come with this meal. It didn't come in the package. Magnus sent 2 of them along for the lunch and the dinner entrees. And I'm assuming that these do actually get issued to the Swedish soldiers for these, because they're bigger than the standard US ration heaters. And the reason is because the entree is bigger and it wouldn't fit into a US ration heater. So it fits in this one perfectly. It operates on the same principle, and other than the size, it's pretty familiar, right down to this little guy. And now we'll go ahead and heat this up. Just like in the US one, we open the bag and put the meal in on top of the heating elements. And we add water to the fill line, which is right here. It does take a little bit more than a US ration heater. Slide everything back down. Take the top over. And they do say to put it into a box, but I don't have a box for this. And the other difference between this and the US heaters is it says to leave this flat as opposed to putting it at an angle on a rock or something. And this has been going for, say, about 3 minutes. It hasn't started generating any heat yet. I think my experience with the last one was that it did take quite a while for it to get started, and once it did, it worked pretty good. So I am going to give this, it says to give it 12 minutes. I'm going to give it plenty of time, but also I think I'll see how it is when it comes out, and then I'm going to actually put it in some boiling water, just because I really do want to have this one heated up nicely. I didn't do that with the lunch menu, because it's something kind of interesting, the Tuna Chili Pasta. I just sort of wanted to make sure it's nice and hot. But yeah, I can still, there's no heat coming off this yet after about, it's probably been about 4 or 5 minutes now. So we'll check back in a few minutes. And while that heats up, we'll check out what else we have. There's the Nutwalker honey peanuts. Last one we had were just salted, and they didn't really do too much for me. There's a vacuum seal in there. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm not sure how to describe that smell. It's the same kind of peanuts that the other ones were. They're kind of big peanuts. They didn't really taste all that great the first time around. The honey seems to help. It does smell pretty good. Peanuts. I had to mention we also have this hard candy here. Kind of almost looks like a bullet. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. But we have that, and we have this Flow Blueberry Vanilla Menthol Gum. And it feels like there's 2 pieces in there, so I don't know. That last one we had, it seemed like it was 2 different pieces that had 2 different flavors. But this is 3 flavors split across 2 pieces of gum, so I don't know exactly how it's going to work. Flow 1, Flow 2, and Flow 3. We'll see that at the end, though. Whatever that is. I'm not sure if I mentioned in the last bit about the international aspect of it, the Bridgeford whole wheat bread, shelf-stable sandwich bread. This is actually a U.S. product, and it comes from North Carolina. So this appears to be similar to a wheat snack bread. Actually, it smells very much like a wheat snack bread, kind of like an older one. It's interesting, a little bit different. I do want to try this on its own, so I'm actually going to put some of this peanut butter on just part of it. So I have to be careful for the leak, but I'm going to need the peanut butter a little bit. It's very soft peanut butter, and it doesn't seem like it needs much mixing. Hopefully this is all okay. That came out kind of interesting. It smells okay. It's a sort of a almost a little bit of an artificially kind of smell to it, but it smells like peanut butter. It smells pretty good. We have our vanilla cake. Actually, this is one of the things I've been most looking forward to, because I'm not exactly sure what to expect from this. There's the nutrition facts on this one. It's kind of like a, say like a pound cake. Not much of a smell to it. Almost smells a little bit more like bread than the pound cake that I just mentioned. Yeah, on the bottom I do smell some hint of vanilla, as the name would imply. And we just have some coffee. Polder Mill Snab Cafe, freeze-dried instant coffee. Seems to take quite a bit of mixing for these kind of big little pieces of these sort of biggish pieces of freeze-dried coffee. I'm going to put too much in just to see how strong it'll be, and maybe a little bit more. And this ration also did not come with any utensils, so I'm just using an MRE spoon. It did seem to mix a little bit better than the last one I did. And that's just going to leave us with the entree. I actually did take the take the entree out of the bag because it was taking too long to heat up. Now it's gotten, I think it's as hot as it's going to get now, and it's pretty good. I think this would have been fine in the field, but I knew I was going to want it hotter than this would make it anyway. So I did end up putting it in some boiling water. And one thing I should mention too is that these pouches do open up at the bottom so they can stand up, which is nice if you do need to eat it right out of the pouch. Of course, we don't have to do that, so we're going to check out our Tuna Chili Pasta, which it sounds good in general, but it also sounds kind of fascinating to me because it sounds like 3 different foods. It's tuna, it's also chili, and it's also pasta. I was wondering if this would have been good cold. It smells good. Alright, you can see you're getting a good amount of food with this. Much bigger than a standard US MRE entree. The tuna, it's pretty dark in here. Looks like this is some kind of a pepper right here. You see green and red peppers. And so it's the tuna and the pasta. The pasta is this rotini. So it's the tuna, the pasta, and obviously this red sauce. Instead of being a standard tomato sauce, it's more of a chili. It has tuna, tomato paste, pasta, long red chili and long green chili, onion, carrot, tomato, olive oil, salt, modified cornstarch, garlic, vinegar, spices and herbs, and a thickening agent. That's really about all there is. There isn't a lot of stuff that seems less than natural in here. Obviously for allergens it has fish. It also has wheat and egg. Let's try this out. So I can get a little bit of everything in a spoon. Pardon the finger. That looks good. That's good. I don't exactly know what to compare it to. It's kind of like a pasta dish in an MRE, but it's refreshing because it's not. It's not just the standard tomato sauce. Has more of a kick to it. It's not overly spicy. It definitely does have, as I said, does have a kick to it. And for lunch we had the yellow curry, which had some punch to it too. And this one here, it's still not going to kill you if you're not a big fan of spicy foods. Like I say, overall it's like a pasta dish, but it does have less of that tomato, and it's a little bit like a tuna. I don't know if I want to say tuna casserole, but it has that kind of thing because it does obviously have the fishy flavor of the tuna in there. It's a really good combination. Between the pasta, the chili flavor, and the tuna. This is very good. Between this and the curry, this is some really good food. It's going to be a morale booster. I have this as opposed to having something like a beef patty. That's excellent. That's going to get eaten. And, of course, we do have the Louisiana Hot Sauce. We have to at least try that. Despite the chilies in this, it's not, as I said, it's not overly hot. Let's try this and see. Whew! Wow. That is hot.
Oh boy, they want to our guarantee.
I think we're going to need to put too much on there. Wow. So, if you do like your chili hot, you have the option. I meant to use this with lunch too, but I forgot. Sorry. That does kick it up. Alright, that's kind of clearing my sinuses out a little bit. Let's try this Bridgeford whole wheat bread. So this is basically a different version of the wheat snack bread, like I was saying. Looks similar, smells similar, and we'll try a bit without the peanut butter. little bit different. It has there's a little bit of a sweetness to it. This almost should be called the wheat snack bread because of the sweetness in it. Pretty dense, like wheat snack bread. Not terribly soft. It's not bad though. I'll try it with the peanut butter. Peanut butter tastes fine. Doesn't seem to have suffered from the leak. It does have a little bit of an artificially kind of flavor to it, but you can see this does have a lot of ingredients in here. Actually, no, it doesn't. It's just peanuts, sugar, hydrated vegetable oil, and salt. Just it's in a bunch of different languages. But it seems to have survived fine. A little bit more just to be sure. Yeah, that's good. Like the US crackers with peanut butter or wheat snack bread with peanut butter, you do need to have a drink after that. Coffee doesn't seem to be anything special. Despite saying it's Colombian, it just tastes like freeze-dried instant coffee. Which is fine. That's what you expect. It's nice to have something hot. Try these peanuts. This one's looking a little bit weird. I guess it's alright. This nice honey coating on them. And those are good. They were pretty crunchy with that coating on them. Definitely prefer these over the plain salted ones. I don't know if the nuts or the peanuts are a little bit different. If these are Thailand peanuts. Because they do seem to taste a little bit different. It's not that they're bad, it's just they're a little bit different from peanuts I'm used to. And the interesting thing is I'm not exactly sure where I should be thinking these peanuts came from, because this is it's pretty complicated. As I said, it's a product of Thailand. It's down here, product of Thailand. It's packed for Orifo, the company that puts the components into the Swedish rations. And they're in Denmark. But it also has on here a Hong Kong address. And it mentions the Philippines too. Trading Corporation in the Philippines. Another food trading company in Hong Kong, Denmark, and Thailand. And it ends up in Sweden. So this is a pretty international packet right here. But they're good. And that leaves us with our dessert, the vanilla cake. Which I'm expecting to be basically like a pound cake. It's but it's moist. It's got some it's kind of wet on the outside almost. It's so moist, and it's got some give to it. Dense, moist.
Beautiful! That's my favorite flavor! Vanilla!
Yeah, it tastes pretty good. Not exactly a pound cake as I was expecting. Similar, and it does have a little bit of a vanilla flavor to it. A little bit different in a good way from the regular MRE cakes. And I do want to say one last time, thank you very much to Magnus. I'm going to try out a little bit more of this tuna chili pasta. Very good. And of course we can't forget to try out the hard candy that came with this. The last one was a black one and it was licorice. This one I'm not sure what flavor this is going to be. I'm still not sure what it is. It's good. It's kind of fruity, refreshing, but it doesn't seem to be any particular flavor. It's not like a lemon lime or a grapefruit or something like that you expect from the color. But although I don't know how to describe it, it tastes like candy. Pretty good. And I'll try the flow gum to finish things off. Wow, so this was blueberry, vanilla, and menthol. It's kind of soft. You can squish a little bit. soon as you bite into it, you taste the blueberry. Here's the menthol. Menthol's nice, but it's sort of an odd thing to go along with blueberry and vanilla. I think it tastes the vanilla in there a little bit.
That's my favorite flavor. Vanilla.
Yeah, that's good. I definitely prefer this over the black licorice. Obviously, that's a cultural thing. I don't have any problem with black licorice, but that salted black licorice was pretty strong. So that was part 3, the dinner from menu number 5 of the 24-hour meals, 24-hour combat ration from Sweden. And thanks again to the Magnus. And thank you for watching.
I don't get it.